What would you ask if you could interview the devil? This is exactly what happened in Napoleon Hill's depiction of Outwitting the Devil. He has a one on one interview with the devil and he tells him all of his tactics and all of his secrets. And I'm going to share with you today how you can outwit the devil. Napoleon Hill is known for many of his books, which we're going to cover later this week, which is Think and Grow Rich and 3 Feet from Gold. He started the philosophy of achievement and success. And if you ask any very successful millionaire person, they are going to say that they dedicate their success to Think and Grow Rich, or they'll at least highly recommend the book. So Napoleon Hill knows what he's talking about. The interesting thing with his book, Outwitting the Devil, it didn't come out until 80 years after the circumstances that had happened in the book and after his death, because the book was so controversial. And I promise you that by the end of this, you will know all of the devil's tricks about fear, procrastinating, idleness, and most of all, drifting. And then I'll give you the antidotes for success. First of all, let's look at the example of Napoleon Hill himself. He created what he called the other self, which is a concept that we've talked a lot about in performance psychology and in these trainings, is creating an alter ego that is higher than yourself, that is beyond your own personal capabilities. An other self that has increased faith and increased courage and adaptability. This alter ego also takes adversity and failures. And the quote that I love from this book over and over again, not only in this book, but in all of Napoleon Hill's writing, is that failure is just the seed of an equal or greater opportunity. And what you need to remember is that the urge to continue is always greater than the desire to quit. Just rattling off some more points from Napoleon Hill, it is that prayer is a privilege and gratitude is a power in prayer. Shift your prayers from wants and desires to gratitude. And the last quote I'll share from him before we get into the devil's tactics is, "Be careful what you set your heart upon, for it shall truly be yours." So what you need to do with this is create your alter ego in sales and business and relationships. Create a higher version of yourself so that you can become the captain of your soul, somebody filled with faith and courage. Now, the whole premise of this book, again, is an interview with the devil. So what does the devil tell Napoleon, and what are the tactics that the devil uses? He uses fear of poverty, criticism, failure, loss of love, old age, and death. If any of these are fears for you, try to overcome them with faith. The biggest thing that the devil uses is what he calls drifting. Or in other words, you're just going from one thing to the other, not really thinking. You have no purpose. You have no independent thought or creativity. And this is what he sows into children, into teachers, and into society. And we see this today. People are just going and they don't really know what they're doing. They're going here, they're going left, and they have no purpose. This is what drifting is. You're not thinking for yourself, you're letting others and society think for you. And this, again, causes idleness or laziness. And idleness is the devil's workshop. You really don't want to be there. I know we've talked about eliminating hurry and slowing down, but again, you have to stay busy. Staying busy is different than being in a hurry, but being bored is different than being idle. Being intentional with your thoughts and your actions is what's actually important here. The devil said that men who think are his enemies. So become a great thinker, and you will be an enemy to the devil, and thus a friend of God. So let me ask you, where do you think you are drifting in your own life? Where do you not have purpose and you're just going with the flow? Find a way that you can have definite purpose. And this goes into the next part, which, how do you be a non-drifter? How do you defeat the devil? How do you be the opposite of the path that he has in front of you? Number one is to have a definite purpose, a clear goal, something ahead of you that you're working towards that you can think creatively for, that you can be independent about. And then also having self-discipline, controlling of your desires like food and sex. Don't consume so much that you're not going to be able to live a disciplined lifestyle. Non-drifters, they don't wait. They take action. Do it now, do it now, do it now. Something we can do is the devil, he teaches children to drift by not giving them creative thought in the school system. Parents finish their sentences. They don't let them fall and fail. Let children fail. Let children think for themselves and let them create. And allow yourself to fail and to create as well. Give yourself that same grace. And the quote I'll share from this part is it's actually from Joseph Smith, and he was answering somebody that was asking, how did you create such a good society, this little group of Mormons here? And he said, I teach them correct principles, and then I let them govern themselves. I teach them correct principles, and then I let them govern themselves. Think about that one. So this was going to be a very short, quick training today because it really is all about thinking properly, having purpose, and becoming a non-drifter, and avoiding these sins of the devil through fear of loss and all the fears that we listed earlier. And remembering that failure is not the end of it all. Failure is a seed. I have failed so much in my life, and I can testify that all of my little failures have turned into opportunities for me to grow and to achieve big success in different things in my life. Create a mastermind. Surround yourself with other people that aren't drifters, that are also thinking intentionally. 2 to 3 more people that you can have around you that are intentionally moving forward with a purpose-driven goal. Seek harmony in your life. Align yourself spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically to have harmony with yourself as well as with others around you. Be a peacemaker in your life. Follow this example of the antithesis of the devil, which is Jesus Christ, which is to be peaceful and seek harmony with those around you. And the last lesson is to always remember the law of attraction. What you think about is how you're going to behave. So control your thoughts, you'll have greater control over your behavior. As a man thinketh, so is he. In conclusion, Napoleon Hill, he teaches us that the devil isn't some horned figure. He's distraction. He's fear. And he causes you to drift, to go a direction that you don't want to go. And the way out is very clear. Having definite purpose, a goal, something that you're looking forward to, something that you have to think about, be grateful for, having some self-discipline and the courage to think for yourself. This has been Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. I'm a sports psychologist, Daniel Jacobson. Thank you for sharing this moment with me. I appreciate your time. As always, stay mindful.